are now listening to The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Courtney on the One Podcast Network. Let's get it.
From NJ to BK in the world, it's The Box Out here on the One Podcast Network. My name is Kahlil Thomas. Joining me in a few minutes will be Jason Courtney from Brooklyn, New York. It is draft night. It is the, I don't even know how many times you've done this, 8th annual Box Out draft, live draft watch along party. We are here with you. For those who are new, we don't stay for the whole draft. Let's put that out there. We're not staying to the next pick at 24. Let's go Knicks. We usually hit about pick 13, 14, and we usually probably call it quits at that point. But we will be with you for the first at least 10 to 11 picks to talk about this draft. And, you know, the word I keep hearing about this draft is deep. It is a deep draft. It's a deep draft. It's a deep draft. And I don't disagree with that sentiment. I do think it's very top heavy. Obviously, you have AJ DeBonza, you have Darren Peterson, you have Caleb Wilson, Cameron Boozer. Those four guys all could be number one picks. They all could be number one overall picks in the draft. Obviously, the battles between AJ DeBonza and Darren Peterson out of Kansas, DeBonza obviously from BYU. And it seems as if these last few days leading into tonight's draft that the Wizards were going to go with DeBonza. I think more so out of just circumstance. They end up signing Trae Young to a ridiculous extension, 4 years, $212 million. So Darren Peterson wants to play the point, and now you have a point guard in Trae Young. Don't really need a point guard because Darren Peterson really wants to become a point guard and not really be the two or that combo guard that everyone talks about. So Washington really doesn't need a point guard, which takes Darren Peterson out of the running, which gives you AJ DeBonza as your first overall pick. Hopefully, obviously, I haven't announced anything yet. We're watching with you. So, obviously, like I said, this is watch along. We will tell you what we think. I think when we hit probably I would say 4, because I think the top 3 picks are pretty much solidified. Is DeBonza, is Peterson. I think it's Caleb Wilson, although it could be Wilson or Boozer, depending on who you talk to, what website you watch, what website you take a look at. It's kind of a two-man race for number one pick, but I think when you get from 1 to 4, 3 and 4 can be kind of interchangeable. It could be either Boozer, it could be Wilson. I think the trade that happened yesterday with the Bulls makes it more interesting because, you know, the Bulls traded for Nick Claxton from Brooklyn. He's a 6'11 center. Caleb Wilson is a 6'10 power forward who could play center. So how would that work playing Caleb Wilson and Nick Claxton together in Chicago? So maybe Wilson going to Chicago may not be a good idea. At number 3, you have Boozer probably going to Memphis. Is Memphis a great place for Cameron Boozer? Probably not, but we shall see. So obviously top 4 is kind of a crapshoot. I think after that, you hit this very weird point. And the last few drafts have kind of been like this where after pick 4 or 5, it becomes, okay, either you're going to have a guy who's going to be a really good starter, like a Darius Acuff, a Keaton Wagler, or you're going to have a good rotation guy. I think that's what makes this draft deep. When they say the draft is deep, they're not talking about, oh, you got stars across the board. I think you have your top 4 guys who could be stars, probably 3, let's be honest. I think it's Boozer, DeBonza, and Peterson could be your stars. I think Caleb Wilson needs to work on a few things, and he also got hurt towards the end of the season with North Carolina, so I need to see a bit more from him. But I think you have a lot of good starters, and I think you have a lot of good rotation guys that can give you 25, 26 minutes right now that can contribute. And I think that goes all the way through the first round of the draft. Throughout the first round of this draft, you're going to see guys that are going to start right away for certain teams. They're going to be in that rotation, maybe not starting, but come off the bench as your 7th, your 8th man. That's going to contribute for a lot of these teams, especially with Milwaukee. We'll talk about Milwaukee a bit later. Giannis trade getting 10 and 13 now. So I do believe there's some value here. It just depends on where they go. Like I said, after we hit 4, with the Bulls, I think that's when the fun starts. As I bring Jason Corden from Brooklyn, New York. Jay, I'm telling you now, I know you were at the parade. But I wasn't even going to try to come find you because that shit was crazy.
Yeah, it was bonkers. I think I'm slightly still hungover a little bit from the parade because I didn't make it home till like midnight, and it was bonkers.
See, I got home at 6:30 to come at the jerk. I fell asleep for 12 hours.
That was probably me Saturday. Yeah,
I went to sleep Thursday night 7 p.m. I woke up Friday morning 7:30. Did not move. My wife was like, I tucked you in. Like you were half dressed, nice. TV blasting TNA because somehow the Samsung Plus app popped on. I had TNA wrestling on, and no blanket on you. I'm like, damn, I was that messed up. God damn.
It was that kind of experience. And I don't know about you, but everybody I encountered was super nice. Like the whole idea of folks being all like violent or carrying on, it was crazy. Everyone was super nice, buying each other shots, hugging each other, talking about we never thought we'll see the day, and F them pigs chants all throughout the parade.
I will say I never taken so many random pictures with white women in my life, except that day. It was the oddest damn thing. It was like, take a picture. Okay, no problem. Till it pops up on Facebook somewhere, and I get in trouble for my wife later. But anyway, tonight the story is NBA draft. I talked about how the Bonds is probably going to go to Washington because they don't need a point guard because they signed Trae Young to a 4-year, $212 million contract. Let's start with that contract first. When he opted out, I was like, "There's no way he's going to get that kind of money," and he got that kind of money. How bad is that deal? And in hindsight, after like 48 hours of it being kind of announced,
I think it's bad. It's gonna leave a taste in the locker room mouth. We're both wrestling fans. This kind of reminds me of The Miz being the pro to Daniel Bryan. Because the band's just gonna come in here and be like, "I am 1,000 times better than this guy, but he's making 8,000 times more money than I am." And I don't know if he's the guy I want to be my pro. But kudos to Trae Young. He still has a market. Apparently, he still has a market. I didn't think he would have a market. I thought he would have been. He would have probably had to look for a pay cut if he wanted him to stay with Washington. But kudos for him getting that money.
Well, I think the problem is, he went to Washington. I think the market was. I think when he got traded to Washington, he knew that he had to stay there. Like Trae Young is turned into a reclamation project now, so he knew. The market was just in Washington because Washington's like, we got to get competitive, especially with these new tanking rules and how it works now. So they went out, they got Trae, they got AD. Now you get into Bonza. So I feel like he knew like they were making an offer, they had money. Let's just stay here, see if we can get our game up, and then maybe use Washington to get the hell out in a couple years.
Sounds like a feasible plan.
So it looks like the Bonza's going to go first. Listen, he was on TV a lot. I saw him live at the Garden last year. Mm-hmm. Do you see anything wrong with him? Like watching him as much as because I feel like BYU was on ESPN a lot, and then seeing him up close and personal. Is there anything wrong with AJ DeBonza? Because I can't find it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I would prefer him to see him go to Utah to be their savior. Mm-hmm. That'd have been a good story. But I'm just the only problem I have with him is he going to Washington, and Washington has not been a stable franchise for quite some time. But I think he's a solid pro. I think he's going to come in there and, like I said, Trae and Tom and Anthony Davis, they're going to look at him like, whoa. They're going to be surprised how polished he is. So I think I see no flaws in this game. I think he'll fit right in the East and probably be an all-star in 2 years.
So obviously I listened to Bill Simmons. He mentioned it with Tim Legler, how the worst part of the drafts was actually his idea, him coming up with draft comps for every player. And the NBA draft.net comp for AJ DeBonza is Tracy McGrady.
I don't really see it. I don't see it. I don't not dislike it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not. He's essentially a power forward, very thin, 215 pounds. I didn't realize he was that kind of slight.
Right.
That might be one of the worst player comps I've seen in a really long time, like by far. So we know it's gonna be the Bonds. I think everyone and mom knows it, unless they completely shock us in the next like few minutes and say, "Oh no, sorry, ain't happening." Bruce, dang, your wife touched you with Disney songs. She listened. I didn't need the song. She put me out. I was already done. There was a lot of Heineken and margaritas that night. All right, Adam Silver at the podium. AJ DeBonzo's number 1 overall pick. He goes to Washington. God bless you. We'll be praying for you in Washington and hope that they get together. Number 2 gets interesting because obviously best available is Darren Peterson. But with Peterson, and you saw it last year, I feel like every other week I heard a story about Darren Peterson not playing for Kansas because of cramps or just being on a minutes restriction or something like that. How scary would that be for you as a GM, seeing that he had a minutes restriction his freshman year of college? He missed games because of cramping and stuff like that. Is that something that would kind of turn you off, or is the talent too much to kind of overlook?
I think the talent's a little too much to overlook. It will definitely hold concerns, but I think he come in there. Utah needs to make a splash. They've been tanking for quite some time now. It's a good blue chipper to have in your back pocket if you're Danny Ainge and you want to make moves down the line. If it doesn't work, if you see flaws in this game early in terms of like availability, it's a blue chip to have in your back pocket down the road.
Well, what makes this pick interesting is you have the Boozer relationship with Utah. Carlos Boozer's part of the front office. He's a former Jazz player. So if you're Danny Ainge, would you want to keep that in the family? Or would you say we don't want that Jalen Brunson, Rick Brunson shit happening in Utah?
I definitely don't think he wants that Rick Brunson, Jalen Brunson thing happening in Utah. And besides, you got to look at, best available player. I think you would have to take him over Boozer. Even though Boozer's a little bit more polished, I would still take him over Boozer.
Yeah, I think Boozer might be the most ready NBA guy. I think Peterson has the most upside, where if you put him in Utah has a team. Utah's got some guys where you put him with Lauri Markkanen and you put him with let's see. Well, I don't know if my man Walker's going to be there or not, but they have some talent where you put young talent together, maybe it'll all mesh, but then you have younger talent who's looking for a come up. So we don't really know how this is going to work in Utah because you have so much young talent and all the contracts are coming up at the same time.
Yeah. Don't forget Bailey. He might be fighting for possessions from Bailey.
Yep, you got Bailey, you got Jaren. I think Jaren Jackson's going to be your centerpiece. So you have Jaren Jackson. You could have Darren Peterson, Ace Bailey, George possibly, but George is also coming up for contract too. So I feel like Lauri Markkanen's forever on the trade block, like every single year.
Pretty much, he's the survivor out here in Utah.
He's the new Miles Turner. That's who he is. He's the new Miles Turner every single year. Bruce believes that Boozer is overrated.
I don't want to say overrated, but he's just it's the Duke branding and the Boozer name that kind of elevates who he is.
Well, I think the problem would he have benefited from another year in Duke? Yes.
I think him and his brother would have benefited on the national scene. It would have benefited one more year.
Yeah, I really think another year would have helped him. Well, he's going to be top 3 pick, so I don't think it's a terrible thing.
Even though I would prefer him to go to Chicago than Memphis, but you know how that goes in the draft.
Well, Chicago. Let's talk about Chicago for a second because they're coming up 4. But I want to talk about the trade they made last night with Minnesota and Brooklyn. Brooklyn trades Nick Claxton to Chicago. Brooklyn gets back Julius Randle, so Randle handles back in New York City.
Yeah, baby.
The Nets came in with a lot of cap space, and they're blowing a lot of cap space on Julius Randle. But you still have Michael Porter, the 4 guards, and the 1 point center you signed, you drafted last year.
Possible 5 guards with who you get number 6.
Can you tell me, as a Brooklyn resident, you don't live too far from Barclays, what the hell are they doing? I'm confused.
This is what happens when you watch your ex when get a ring, get this big fat ring from her new man, and you gotta do something. And then you get somebody who doesn't like your ex as well, and it's probably gonna have a chip on the shoulder. So it's a marriage made in hell for them. I don't understand it. I get it, but I don't understand it because they're kind of doing what they did a couple of years ago when they took on cap space to be bad on purpose. But yeah, I would have held it out a little bit. I wouldn't have went to take up all that money and use it on Julius. I would have waited to see if someone else would be disgruntled, a la Jaylen Brown, because there's no way Jaylen Brown can go back to Boston after they tried to dangle him twice now.
Right now, I'm looking at the roster right now. You have Julius Randle making 33.3. You have Michael Porter making 40.8. Terrence Mann making $15.5 million. And then you have seven for Igor, 6.2 for Zaire, which is a club option. Day'Ron Sharpe is now your starting center, who definitely improved last year, but isn't a starting center in the NBA.
No.
So I feel like for Chicago, I thought Caleb Wilson would probably be that guy, but now I don't think that is. Like, can Caleb Wilson, can they do a Jared Allen name I'm losing? Why am I forgetting his name in Cleveland? Oh, I just went blank. I don't think they can play together. I don't think Caleb Wilson and Nick Claxton can play together. So that's my biggest concern about number 4 now, if that can even happen.
So you think they might not? You think they'll trade back, or you think they'll pick a guard at number 4?
I think they'll pick a guard.
If they pick a guard at number 4, do we see Caleb dropping past the Clippers, possibly to the Nets?
So Utah picks up Darren Peterson, number 2. His NBA comp, Devin Booker. How do you feel about that comp?
It's good. I don't think it's. I wouldn't say Devin Booker. Maybe Fox.
Darren Fox.
Yeah, I'll probably say De'Aaron Fox.
Well, he said,
I'm only saying that because he no-showed against St. John.
Thank you. The Bonds did not want to go to Utah again. Those DC groupies going to be busy. No more Utah Snow Bunnies.
Hey, there's bunnies and
there's a lot of bunnies in DC. I'm saying there's a lot of snow bunnies in DC. That's where the money is. He did say, Darren Peterson, he wants to become more of a point guard and not be a 2 guard. Although he has the body of a 2, maybe combo.
They kind of need both in Utah though, so it kind of works out.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm sketchy with him only because of the cramping. Like, to have someone have that, like, that's to be on a minutes restriction in your freshman year of college and then just be like, yeah, he's out for cramps. And Bill Self actually looked pissed off throughout the year last year whenever he didn't have to kind of talk about Darren Peterson being out. So I feel like he's, like you said, the talent, so he's so good and so talented and he has such a good upside. But that just bothers me how much time he missed. And when they needed him to come kind of bring it in late games, he was either not in the game, hurt, or they had to pull him out for minutes restrictions.
So what's your over-under for Summer League for him? How many games do you think he plays?
3.
Oh, you think he plays 3? Okay.
I think he plays 3. And that's it. I mean, and Utah, look at the roster. They don't, unless there's someone on hold. They don't have a point guard. So this is probably the best spot for him because, Contrar's not a point guard. County George is not a point guard. Ace Bailey should be a power forward, but he's down here as a small forward. You don't have point guard. So it's going to be his team to run. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see, what it's going to be like. Peterson dad is emotional. Love it. Peterson, another Dylan Carter for me. Listen, if he stays healthy, does what he has to do, I think this is a good pick for Utah. And hopefully they got to figure this shit out because I'm sick of Utah being in the lottery. It's getting old now.
Yeah, it's getting old now.
Number 3 is Memphis. It looks like it's between Boozer and Caleb Wilson. I think it's going to be Boozer. But if you're Cameron Boozer, do you want to go to Memphis with the messes going on there right now?
Well, it depends if they're going to keep Ja or they're going to try to move him.
Well, I think here's the problem with that. What's the trade value for Ja Morant right now? I think that's the major question because 42.1 next year, 44.8 the following year. Last 2 years of contract.
Damn.
So you bring on a player that you have to pay $86 million to over the next 2 years, and diminishing returns. He had probably one of his worst seasons of his career. Not maybe the worst season of his career last year. What would you, if you're a GM and Memphis said, give us an offer, what would you honestly consider giving him?
See, that's the problem. I don't know where his market would be. Like, if you would probably have to come back. You're gonna have to eat up a lot of that salary and give up some young prospects. I like maybe the Nets, if they somehow still have some money saved over, they could try to absorb some of that contract. But if they do get Boozer in there, maybe that might spark something in John. Like, you know what? I'll stay. I'll make things work. We have a young team. I could galvanize around them. I could be somewhat of a leader in the locker room now. Maybe that might be the route they want to take.
See, I think this would be the perfect spot for Caleb Wilson because the size aspect. You look at their roster. Besides Brandon Clark, who he's serviceable. Mm-hmm. They have Zach Edey, who actually looked really good towards the end of last year, but Zach Edey's not your long-term solution at the 4 to 5. I think this would be a good spot for Memphis to go after Caleb Wilson to get some extra size because they don't have a lot on this team right now. They have a shit ton of guards, but not a lot of forwards.
Yeah.
And the roster itself is not that good. I'm looking at Morant, Caldwell Pope. I'm going in order of salary. It's Morant, Caldwell Pope, Aldama, Clark, Ty Jerome, Taylor Hendricks, Zach Edey, and there's a drop-off. Howard, Walter Clayton Jr., Taj Gibson still kicking around.
He's still in the league?
Taj Gibson's set to make $3.8 million next year.
Damn, keep getting them checks.
And Scottie Pippen Jr., member of Memphis Grizzlies as well. Shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. Who do you think they go with here? Do you think they go with Caleb Wilson or Boozer?
I think they go with Boozer for the name. I think it's about name recognition here, and yeah.
So Boozer's comp is I'm looking forward.
It'd be hilarious if it's Compass's dad.
No, it's not. Al Horford.
Oh hell no. and I'm only saying that respectfully because Al Horford was very polished in college. 2-time champion. He came in. He was already solid pro.
This is two completely different players. Al Horford and Karen Boozer are two completely different guys. This is the worst. This NBADraft.net sucks with these comps. All right, Boozer's going to Memphis. So far it's kind of chalk on what the mock draft said. 4 is working interesting because I think the Bulls, after making that trade, and we'll look at that trade real quick, what happened last night. Nets received Julius Randle and the number 28 pick tonight. Minnesota gets Mo Gurr, and then the Bulls get Nick Claxton and the 33rd pick tomorrow for the second round. I thought Nick Claxton made a lot of sense in Brooklyn with all those guards, someone allowed the ball to. Those guards did not play any defense at all. So you had a defensive guy in the middle who, finished in the top 10 for defensive player of the year. And now you have no size. So once again, I don't understand what Brooklyn's plan is unless it's what you said. Just load up on contracts and just see what happens.
Yeah, because they don't have their pick next year. Yeah, so there's no incentive to tank. And we saw what tanking got them this year, got them the 6th pick. So I don't know, man. I feel bad for Nets management because you walk out the door, you go across the street. There's a big old Nike store with nothing but Nike championship paraphernalia. I mean, everyone in New York, it's just bad. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm really
go Liberty, yo. Go Liberty. Go
Liberty. No, I'm trying to figure out the strategy because I don't understand. I never got the idea of just accumulating contracts. Even when they did the first time, when they got Alan Crabb for nothing, it was still sketchy to me.
I mean, because you got all these young players that you got from last year and whoever you drafted tonight or tomorrow. You really can't move those guys because they're unproven commodities. So what is the real game plan here?
I mean, the idea would have been to package them with Claxton in a deal like this. and see if you can get more from Minnesota. Because obviously Minnesota's trying to get money so they can sign DeMonzo, which they did yesterday.
Which they immediately they re-signed.
Yeah. So obviously they wanted to get Randall off the books, but you probably could have got something else if you packaged a Saraf with them or Nolan Traore with them or something. You have this overabundance of guards, and you're just going to stay put and hold pat with all these damn guards on your team. It makes no sense to me. When you trade Claxton, you can trade a young point guard. You got 4 of them. Like, you can move somebody.
Dark days ahead for the Brooklyn Nets.
I mean, has it ever been light outside? So obviously, like I said, Boozer goes to Memphis freshman year. Probably should say another year. 6'9", 255. Good two-way player. Played decent defense. Like I said, still think he should have stayed another year in Duke and just get a little more playing time, but that's not the point. Now we're at 4 at the Bulls. Do you think they go Wilson, which would be the next best available, or do you think they go someplace else?
I think Hart says they go someplace else, but mine says they're definitely going to go with Caleb.
Yeah, I'm very curious about number 4. Number 5, I'm even more curious about because 5 is the Clipper pick. 5 is the pick that should have went to Indiana.
That is oh my goodness.
Dumbasses. That was a pick that the GM went on TV, pretty much went on TV and said, whoops. My bad. So the Clippers get the 5th pick, and I think this is the perfect time for LA to go, you know what? We started shedding some old people. Kawhi's going to his last year of his contract. We need a reset, and we need a hard reset once these penalties from aspiration comes in. Let's start all over. Do you think they do that, or do you think they're still like, we can be competitive and maybe give Kawhi a bit more money or make a splash of free agency?
I think they're gonna feel like they can be a little bit more competitive. They feel like the Lakers don't have that grip on the city as they normally do. I think they go get themselves a point guard to help Kawhi. I think Kawhi. They probably think Kawhi probably got 2-3 years good left with him. They still have Garland.
Mm-hmm.
And old boy from Indiana that was pretty good. They got a nice young nucleus. I say build around that, and if anything, you start planning for when you lose Kawhi.
I mean, essentially, I'm not sure what Benedict Mathurin is yet.
Same here. I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out. Like, he's a restricted free agent, so they're going to match whatever deal comes his way. That's a no-brainer. I think you pair him up with a Garland and say we're going to build around Darius Garland and Mathurin with this pick. So you have your point guard and you have, I guess, your 2 or 3, depending on where you want to play Mathurin. But besides that, there's not a lot here. Bogdanović has a team option. Brook Lopez is a team option. Batum is a team option. So you're going to have a lot of holes to fill on this team. So maybe another guard. Maybe you take a shot and hope that maybe Caleb Wilson falls to you where you have a big man.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to get that. Well, we're going to find out right now.
Because there's not a lot of size in LA at all. Like, none.
Either team.
No. Maybe starting Lakers. We'll talk about them a little later. Pick is in for the Bulls. Let's see if they still with Caleb Wilson and try to create a Evan Mobley, Jared Allen situation. I remember the name finally. Caleb Wilson goes to Jesus. I don't know about that one. I'm not sure on that one. So you're gonna have Bulls? Yeah, because he can't really shoot. Him and Claxton has kind of the same style. Back to the basket, rim running. They play exactly the exact same way.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out
if they didn't get Claxton last night, this wouldn't have been a bad pickup.
Yeah, without Claxton coming there, I feel like this made sense. Now Claxton there, you have 2 6'10" guys clogging a lane up. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I get, I get it, but at least Evan Mobley can shoot. which spaced the floor for Jared Allen inside.
Exactly,
Claxton's tried to shoot threes the last couple of years in Brooklyn, and that shit ain't work. So I'm confused in this. The Bulls are in purgatory. Yes, the Bulls are forever in purgatory. God bless them. And they picked up they signed Thiago Splitter to be coach. So God bless Thiago. He got a real job. Not like at Portland where they're trying to like bargain basement shop.
Which was terrible. Like that was a terrible move by Portland.
They were looking for a new head coach while the interim was winning playoff games. That's some shit. That is some shit. All right, what's the Clippers pick? Actually, no, wait. Caleb Wilson, player comp, is a cross between Jermaine O'Neal and Chris Bosh.
They are really high on these guys. I mean, God. Jermaine O'Neal, I don't know about that. Chris Bosh, hell no. God, no.
Listen, like I said, they really believe these guys are going to be that guy, be that shit. Chicago is interesting because, they get Claxton, who's 27. I always forget Nick Claxton feels like he's been playing for 25 years. He's 27 years old. Josh Giddey, I think, is a really underrated point guard, combo guardish.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Williams making $18 million a year still bothers me. Every time I see that number, it's insane. But besides Giddey, besides Patrick Williams and Claxton, you have nothing on this team. When do you think the Bulls become competitive again? Because I don't see it anytime soon.
When they start taking on salary and somebody decides to want to go there. Other than that, it's going to be rebuild after rebuild after rebuild. But I do like some of the parts they have. I do like Giddey. I think Caleb's going to come in there with a chip on the shoulder. Claxton, I think it's a pit stop. I think he's going somewhere else. But, yeah, it's going to take some time for the Bulls to come around. And I forgot they lost their coach. So now they got Splitter, who's probably going to take a while to implement his system. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious because and I didn't realize Claxton's contract was really team friendly. So when the Nets re-signed him last year, I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. But then I looked at it like it's all kind of top loaded and 23.3 next year and then 21 last year to contract. So it's not a bad contract for Chicago to take on, even though they wasted, I think they had like $33 million of cap space, and now they've wasted 23 of it already. Bruce thinks that Caleb seems lazy.
I don't know if he seems lazy, but he was definitely carrying a lot of the load in North Carolina last year. And that was not one of North Carolina's best teams.
No. I mean, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have got as far as they did. But by any means. And once he got hurt, you saw it. It was a shit show. Clippers up next. The Mocs have Keaton Wagler going there from Illinois, who I didn't see him play a ton. I don't know how you feel about Wagler going to LA, another guard.
I mean, it wouldn't. It's the best available player situation. I don't know if I would take him over Acuff, but the Clippers see that they need they need depth right now, and getting him, because Garland always gets hurt. Mm-hmm. So that would leave you in the Houston situation without a point guard. So yeah, it makes sense. For that reason, it makes sense.
My problem with both of these guys is their defense is not great, and obviously Western Conference, they're not the 1990s,
right,
Knicks, but Acuff especially, and they said it in his scouting report. Calipari kind of told him, just sag off on defense. We need you on offense. Don't play no defense. Save all your energy for the offensive end. Do not do anything. So I don't know how good Acuff is defensively because Cal probably didn't tell him to play the defense. So
that's right.
And the same thing with Wagler. I think he can D you up. It's kind of like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can D you up when he wants to D you up.
Mm-hmm.
But if he doesn't have to, he won't at all. I think that's gonna be a problem with Acuff and even Wagler. I think you got to see them. I think that's where Summer League kind of comes in.
Right.
I need to see them play some defense and tighten some guys up, and then feel more confident about both of those guys.
They're all. I mean, those guys will be work in progress. defensively, but offense, they're gonna fit in right just fine.
All right, so they haven't made the pick yet. Wait, okay, here he comes. Adam Silver goes to the podium to make his pick. This is the LA Clippers at number 5. Sorry, Indiana Pacer fans, you guys got screwed.
Had he been with the Pacers would have had the lightest skin of light skins backcourt in the history of their.
You telling me? All right, so Keaton Wagler is the pick. He goes to LA at number 5. The Nets are now on the clock. They have 2 picks in the first round. They have 6 and 28. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here. Mox have Mikal Brown going to Brooklyn, 6'4" guard. So once again, they get another goddamn guard. If you were Sean Marks, is this where you would take Darius Acuff, or would you say, you know what, let's take a shot at, I'm going to say it, a Met from Tennessee, the Michigan player Axel, maybe reach for him a little bit. What would you do here if you're Sean Marks?
See, I would probably go with Acuff just to get fans back in the building. You know, sell the fans on, hey, this guy is an electric small point guard. You saw what Brunson just did. He kind of has Brunson's similar build and similar game. And that's how I would approach it to the Nets fans. But I think with this pick, they could stretch it out and take a chance on somebody because they're heavily loaded with point guards already and playmakers. So it doesn't hurt to reach here if I'm the Nets.
So let's do a count of point guards. 1, 2,
they got 4, at least
3.
4.
They have 3 hitting. Actually, no, wait. Let me go back down. Malachi Smith is point. Ben Saroff is point. Nolan Terrell is point. Igor's a point. I don't care what you say. Danny Wolf is a point center. I don't say point guard too. And Danny Wolf can bring the ball up. So essentially you have 5. You have 5 point guards. If you count Michael Porter Jr., who I'm still shocked they have not moved yet. I don't know why he's still on this team.
Trade deadline 2027 for sure. He's gone.
An expiring contract at $40.8 million. I feel like this, you should be dangling him at every turn, saying we got Michael Porter Jr. We got Michael. He's expiring, but once again, why couldn't you pair him and Claxton together in a deal to get either more draft picks or to get, no offense, Julius Randle, a better goddamn player? I don't understand.
Maybe they have a plan.
Do they ever have a plan? Because I'm irrationally annoyed at how bad the Nets do things now. And it seems like they really don't try. It seems like they really don't give a shit. Like we have a plan. We're the smartest guys in the room. We know what we're doing. And this is where we are now. You let Kyrie, you let KD, you let Harden go, and it's been garbage ever since.
I'm surprised they weren't in the Giannis sweepstakes, because I feel like their package, they could have gave a lot of draft capital and a lot of young prospects. You could have came off a couple of those prospects and sent it to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, the draft picks are interesting because you gotta look at the draft situation too. Because I feel like they don't have a lot of their picks over the year, so you have every other year draft picks.
Right.
But you have so many young players that you probably could auction them off. And it's like, who do you want? Like, take your pick. So you're right. I think, but would Giannis would have wanted to come to Brooklyn now? That's the other question.
Sure.
That's the problem. That's the issue. So I don't know. Best available is Acuff. Best fit, according to ESPN, and probably Jay Billis, Mikal Brown from Louisville, another freshman. Have we completely passed the point of players staying in college for 4 years? I meant to ask that earlier.
I will say yes, but still that whole idea of like, hey, if you think you can make some money in the NIL and you think you could, not yet, if you're probably not a top 5, top 10, but you feel like maybe in the next year's draft, you'd be a projected top 5, top 10. Why not go back to school one more year?
I get it. Come out, get that bag, do that. I'm not, capitalism is a good thing sometimes, but I still miss those days like when we grew up, when we knew every single guy in college.
Yep.
Like an NCAA tournament, I saw a guy 2 years ago the tournament when they played on the court at Taco Bell State Arena in Boise, when the court was sold Boise. I missed that growing up and seeing those guys develop for 4 years and say, okay, they get drafted. I knew who they are because I watched them 4 straight years. And not just like Dukes and North Carolinas, but like the guys that, Jimmy Dykes used to announce for at midnight on ESPN and like the Pac-12. Those days are gone, I think, forever and ever.
We just talked about Horford. I feel like Horford and those guys, that core, stayed 3 years together at Florida.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That just don't happen anymore.
Listen, give me three. Give me 3 years. I'm okay with that. All right, so ESPN's currently showing Nets picks from last year, all 5 first-round picks. I still can't believe they kept all 5 picks. Like, they didn't even try to move.
They didn't try to move them. And
Drake Powell, I see nothing there. I see nothing there from Drake Powell at all. I watched him play a lot last year, and I'm like, I don't know how you're a first-round pick, guy. I know you're 22, but still. All right, Brooklyn pick is in. They select Mikal Brown. It's okay, just go on chalk. Mikal Brown, his player comp is, I got to find it because Bruce is like, cut it out. These comps are awful.
Awful.
CJ McCollum.
He kind of looks like CJ.
He does. He does.
He kind of looks like him.
Undersized guard who can shoot 34% from 3. Only 3 turnovers a game as a freshman, which is pretty impressive as a freshman to turn the ball over 3 times when you're ball handling. And there's the Nets war room. They look very scared. We got to make this work, guys. We have no other outs. So then Brown goes to Brooklyn. God bless you. Next up,
good luck with Julius.
Next up, Sacramento Kings. We talk about purgatory. This is a team that's forever. God bless Mike Brown. You guys should feel like shit, by the way. You should feel like shit. You let Mike Brown go, and he got a ring now. So, just saying. I think this is where Acuff goes now. How pissed off would Darius Acuff be if he went to Sacramento?
I mean, just look at they drafted Halliburton. They drafted Fox. They know how to draft point guards. They just don't know how to keep them. So, it's one of those things where he's going to purgatory. However, he has a chance to make it his team, and we'll see what happens from there.
So here is Sacramento's roster of guys who are under contract next year. Zach LaVine, $48.9 million. Domantas Sabonis, $45.4 million.
You figure they're one of those guys.
DeMar DeRozan, $25.7 million. DeAndre Hunter, $24.9 million. Keegan Murray, $24.1 million. Malik Monk, $20.1 million. And then Devin Carter, 5. Nick Clifford, 3. Killian Hayes is a club option. Probably pick him up. There is a lot of money already out the door on this team.
Whew.
And it's not good money at all. This team is flawed beyond repair. If you're Sacramento's GM and they gave you the reins and said, do what you need to do, my first thing would be another expiring contract. Like Zach LaVine's off the books. I would be out there like, we have Zach LaVine. What do you want to give us for him right now? Would that be your first move?
Yeah, it would have to be your first move. Because now you got to write stuff out. But I'll try to dangle Zach LaVine to like a Detroit, Orlando, a Toronto, somebody who's like on the cusp of maybe a second round Eastern Conference, Western Conference, appearance. But you gotta get off some of that awful salary.
So he's an expiring contract, and DeMar DeRozan is expiring, and DeAndre Hunter is expiring as well. So DeMar's $26 million, and DeAndre's at 25. So you have 3 expirings that you can probably get rid of, and that you probably need to get rid of ASAP because it is this is bad. So it seems like Acuff would be going there. He's a point guard. he's not gonna get a lot of shots.
Not
with
all.
Zach LaVine and DeRozan and Hunter there and Keegan Murray. So Acuff got used to just shooting the ball whenever he won in Arkansas. That does not happen in Sacramento this year. So be prepared to be a passing point guard in Sacramento for at least next year. At number 8 is going to be Atlanta. That comes from New Orleans. 9 is the Mavericks. 10 is Milwaukee. I want to talk about Milwaukee real quick and talk about the big blockbuster trade that happened at like 12:30 last night when I was already asleep.
I thought I was bugging out too. I was like, well, what? What happened? When I woke up in the morning?
I woke up at 5:30 and I saw my man Michael Eaves. I'm like, wait, what is Mike saying? So this is the deal. There's so much I have to put on the scroll. Giannis and Bobby Porter straight to Miami for Tyler Hero, Kello Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Kasparas Jakulinas, 3 first-round draft picks, 1 pick swap, and a second-round draft pick. I'm not sure who you can say won this trade, only because the picks are so far in the future. You're not going to know who wins this trade until at least 2031.
I think Milwaukee won. I think they got because they got so much assets from him. Whereas the whole time was like, yeah, we're going to send him to Boston for 2 future number 1s and Jaylen Brown. But now you got a bunch of parts. Tyler Hero gets the hometown welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could sell that to the fans and with some role players. And hey, you know Miami. Miami's always trying to win now mode. That never helps in terms of long-term draft capital. So I think Milwaukee won. I'm not sure how much Giannis have left in the tank, but that's a conversation for another time.
So A-Cup goes to Sacramento. Coach Cal, of course, front row, culture vulture. So he goes to Sacramento. Yeah, I think everyone's saying Miami won a trade because they got Giannis and Bam. But like you said, Milwaukee got so much, which you left this team.
It's looking like Carmelo. It looks like Carmelo Anthony all over again.
That's what it is. So you have Giannis, Bobby Portis, and Bam. You have Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, Davion Mitchell, and then a bunch. Norm Powell's a free agent. They'll probably bring him back, but it had to be at a discount.
Right.
Like the guy, I think Powell comes back. That's really it. I think Powell's the only free agent that comes back, but you're paying Bam. Where did Bam go? You're paying Bam 49.5 next year. You're paying Giannis 58.4. You're paying Bobby Portis 14.5, and you're paying Wiggins 30. So whatever you do, someone's got to take a hit. Someone's got to take a bath. So is Miami still a destination? Even with Giannis, is Miami still a place that people are like, I'll go to Miami and win? I don't think that's the case anymore.
I don't think that's the case anymore.
So
and I'm surprised they have the 3rd best odd in the East, because I can think of 5 teams in the East. I still think they're a playing situation.
Because it's all about star fucking. That's all it is. It's Giannis. So Giannis makes a contender. I'm like, did you guys look at the rest of the roster? Did you guys look at what's left over and what they have to get, and hopefully and get it off the scrap heap? They would have to do essentially what LeBron did in Cleveland for years and years.
That's what this feels like too. This feels like that LeBron Heatles kind of constructing of the team, but that doesn't work in 2026.
No, had 8 different champions in 8 years
for a reason. Yeah.
Think about all those teams that won. Were there a 3-headed monster of like high-priced superstar players on every team? No, there really wasn't. You had Giannis and then Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. It wasn't like they were on the same level. They all had a role. So I just feel like that doesn't work. So what they're trying to do in Miami is recreate the Heatles, Bam Adebayo and Giannis. Bobby Porter's part of the Heatles now. Is that your third member?
He's the Bosch. He's Bosch.
I don't understand. So who's the guard? They need a guard, the Heatles. You don't have a guard. You have Norman Powell. Powell is your Dwayne Wade. And that's a scary concept to think about.
I I think they barely top 5 in the East.
Acuff will not finish his career as a king. No shit. We know that already. It's going to end badly very fast for Darius Acuff. Atlanta's on a clock based on mocks. Kingston Flemings from Houston, 6'4" guard, very slight. But with Houston, you know you're getting someone that will D the hell out of you. And Kingston Flemings is that guy. Kingston Flemings can guard anybody. He can guard a 1, he can guard a 2. I've seen him guard small forwards in college and body them up. So,
hey, listen, man.
You know,
everyone's gunning for the Knicks now. So now you got to think about Brunson and other point guards in the East that you got to deal with.
Well, if you look at Atlanta and some of the moves they've made so far, they brought back CJ, which I think they had to based on the series he had against the Knicks. You know, they trade for Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins comes in. They keep CJ. You have Jalen Johnson, you have John Kuminga. They call Alexander Walker, Corey Kispert, Ricochet is still there to draft in that draft that we hated a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got the doors be blown off of them those last 3 games against the Knicks. But how good can Atlanta be, and how much more do they need? So I feel like those first 3 games against the Knicks, like they had it and kind of figured something out, and then it collapsed on them completely. Like how close are Atlanta to actually being in that conversation with the Knicks, the Celtics, and let's say the Pistons?
I think they're right there. I think, you know, like we talk about Miami. I think currently constructed, they're better than Miami. They're better than, I won't say they're better than Cavs, but they're better than Orlando. They're better than that, you know, that below the top 4 in the East. So they're right there. I think a couple tweaks in the lineup, they'll be fine. I think the experience of what happened in the playoffs will help them out.
Yeah, and I'm of the mind where experience, you got to get your ass kicked. Right? I think Detroit got their ass kicked last year, got their ass kicked this year. But you kind of go through it and kind of figure it out. I think Atlanta especially losing by that much in that clincher, had to like stir something up in him. Like that shit can't happen again, especially on a home court. That cannot happen again. So I think that could be a good thing. Milwaukee has, and let me make sure I get this right.
Is it 10 and 13?
10 and 13.
Okay.
They get Taylor Jenkins, and I think Taylor Jenkins is in the best spot possible as a new coach. You don't have a ton of vets. You have Miles Turner, who they're probably going to move now because they're like, if we're going to do this, let's do this for real. It is your team now, and you get a bunch of young guys, which he had in Memphis when they kind of got successful because you coached them up.
Mm-hmm.
How good is this job for Taylor Jenkins, knowing that he signed a 6-year deal to be head coach, and you got the rope now to go, I need at least 3 or 4 to get this team where we need to go, and you're going to see some results.
I think it's a good spot. Not only that, because now they're preaching patience, and Giannis is gone. We're not expecting a championship team overnight. Hell, they just won a title a couple years ago, so this is a perfect spot for. If you want to rebuild, this is a perfect spot to rebuild. Where you're a few years removed from a championship, you got a disgruntled superstar out the way, and now you can sell patience and hope to your franchise. And you have a stable coach to do that, and you got some good role players that are probably going to try to find their way.
Listen, and think about how important it was. I think someone said it in the pre-show and draft. They pulled the Band-Aid off. I know the fans probably didn't want to see Giannis go. I really think ownership's like, we got to get this over with. We can't have this drag on. We got to get this done now.
It would have been a horrible mistake to drag this on after the draft. Horrible.
And can you imagine just going to the trade deadline in February with this just hanging over the head of everybody? It's been awful. The Hawks are making a pick. Kingston Flemings goes to Atlanta, so they get another guard to go with Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels is going to be a starter because he's making $25 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Flemings will push Dyson Daniels, and I think Flemings will see some time pretty quickly. The other part of the Bucks Heat trade is the trade that didn't happen, and that's with the Boston Celtics, with Jaylen Brown being dangled. How bad could this get in Boston?
I'm gonna need Jaylen Brown to get his Tupac on. Like I was the Finals MVP. I held it down last year when Tatum was out. Then rushed Tatum back in. fucked up my chemistry with my teammates. That's why we got eliminated in the first round. I'm gonna need him to get his alpha dog on and be like, you know what? I want out of here. Send me somewhere where I could be my own man. And I do think it's time to just for the fact that you dangle him twice now.
Yep.
I think it's time for that relationship to end.
The problem with him is his contract is so big. I think that's going to be the issue with moving Jaylen Brown. Boston's either going to find someone with a lot of cap space, which is just a couple teams like that, not Brooklyn no more, or you're going to eat a lot of contract. So I feel like
they ain't gonna eat the contract. That's what they're not gonna do. They're not gonna do that.
Because I feel like 50. Hold on, I can't see that. I'm blind now. 57 next year, 61 the year after, 64 the year after that. So either you eat that or you find a team with some cap space. That's why the Giannis trade made sense because the money kind of matched up.
Mm-hmm.
But then here's my issue with the Celtics draft proposal. There was really nothing to it. It's like, here's Jaylen Brown and 2 picks. And then they're like, that's it. Like that's it. That's all you eat. No Schneiderman, no Luka Garza. That's it. That's all we're gonna get. I think that was the bigger problem, which makes it even more like Boston's just trying to get rid of Jaylen Brown.
Right.
That's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is if you offer, hey, we'll give you Jaylen Brown, we'll give you Peyton Pritchard, Schneiderman, and we'll give you Ron Harper Jr. just for the hell of it.
They wasn't trying to come off of any of that.
And 2 draft picks. Milwaukee said, okay, you just say we'll give you 2 first-round draft picks, which will be in the 20s, so they're useless.
Right.
And Jaylen Brown. That seems like you're just trying to get rid of his ass.
Whereas Miami was like, take what you want. You just can't have Bam. You just can't have Bam. We need Bam. We need Bam.
Bam is untouchable, but who do you want? Take your pick. And they're like, we want him. It's kind of like going to a brothel and just picking out the girls you want to have for the night.
Pretty much.
That's kind of what Milwaukee did.
Pretty much.
So I don't know. They won a championship together, but I think that was even kind of wonky. We always knew the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum relationship was kind of fugazi. I think even more so you're going to start hearing it. I think teams will be like, is he available? And Brad Stevens is going to be like, yeah, he's here.
I thought Atlanta or Charlotte would be a perfect fit for him.
I think Atlanta more. I think Charlotte because you got Ball there, and now you got my man Knuppel who shoots a lot. Stuff like that would have been an issue with him and Ball getting shots. I feel like Atlanta would have been perfect for him. And I feel like Atlanta does have the pieces, doesn't have the draft picks to do that. So I think it could have worked, but this is gonna be a very interesting summer.
Do you think Boston does their best to try to mend the fence?
I think they're going to try, but I think this is going to be like this is the second time you did this shit to me, bro. Like, come on now. Like,
do we need Jason Tatum to appear on this podcast?
He has to go to the podcast so people can stop talking. If he goes on his podcast, on his Twitch stream, I think people will be like, okay, shit seems all right. If he does not appear, then people are going to know this shit ain't working.
Shout out to the Knicks because Jalen Brunson and then Josh Hart's roommates, they're doing a good pod run right now.
I know. Well, the live one was insane.
That was crazy.
When Josh was just going at Stephen A. like, you said this, right? You said this, right? You said this, right? Are you going to say sorry now? I was like, God damn. Dallas is on the clock. Dallas is soon to have a new head coach in Dusty May, the Michigan head coach.
Which I'm shocked by. I am shocked that he's jumping ship so fast.
Honestly, there was a clip, and I didn't see it, and it was on Twitter, essentially how he was just complaining about how collegiate sports is now and saying how it's changed completely and the whole culture and landscape's changed. So the way he was sounding, he sounded like he was fed up with the whole ecosystem of college sports. So seeing this happen, I was like, that makes sense. Makes complete sense now. He's discussed it. Now he's going to go get paid like a pro.
And it looks like they drafted one of his guys.
It's a little early. Wait, hold on. I gotta see. This is really early. Jesus, he's not even on the list.
Hey, this is what happens when the coach wants what the coach wants.
Hold on. I'm looking through my papers real quick to see where he was supposed to go. Oh no, not too bad. He's supposed to go. They're predicting him to go 11 to Golden State.
Sounds like a win for Dallas. I'm not Dallas. Milwaukee.
Yeah. So his scouting report is offensive game still developing. They're encouraging signs of growth. He showed flashes of face-up ability and perimeter shooting. Strong free throw percentages, very important. Yeah. Suggested addition of offensive upside. Defensively improved, capable as a help defender, protecting the rim, and switching in spurts. So, in the end, you get a defensive 4, possibly a 5, in a rebuild. You know, Masai Ujiri's saying we're gonna blow this shit up and start all over again. And I think
I forgot he's over there as a general manager. Does that mean Kyrie's staying, or he didn't try to move on for Kyrie?
He isn't trying to move for Kyrie, but I feel like if Kyrie comes out looking good early, I think Kyrie's on the trade market because you can't. I feel like you don't want Kyrie hanging out with Cooper Flag very much.
Nope,
you don't want that. You're like, get the hell out of here. Kyrie signed for another 2 years, $39 million next year, $42.4 the year after. Listen, you put him, this young guy, with Kyrie, PJ Washington, Klay Thompson still gonna be there, Daniel Gifford, Cooper Flag, Caleb Martin, Najee Marshall, Max Christie, Derek Lively. You have a pretty good young team. You get rid of Kyrie and Klay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you count this guy, 7 young guys under age of 30 who can ball out. And then you have the Klay Thompson and the Kyrie experience. You know, I think they could make the playoffs. I think you could legitimately see this roster has the top 6 in the West next year.
I think so.
So I'm curious to see where they go with this, especially if Kyrie is on the market. I think Masai probably does like Kyrie. So I think they probably want Kyrie around to kind of like lead the charge, which is weird to say.
What's even weirder to make that they made this pick because they have the front court depth already.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot. Which is I'm surprised they didn't go get a guard here, but hey, they decided we trust.
You're right. They have a lot of front court.
Which is why they didn't need Anthony Davis anymore.
Because you got PJ. Martin can play the 4 if you need him to. Derek Lively. I think you have a cap hold on. I mean, if you want depth, Dwight Powell, Marvin Bagley for like a kind of an extra body on the bench. So there's a lot of depth. It's very interesting. So quick 30-second break. We'll be right back. I'm going to write my voice in my seltzer real quick. My throat's killing me. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. The Bucks are on the clock for the first of 2 picks. We'll be right back. Back on the box out. Bucks on the clock. The rebuilding Bucks. Pull the trigger real quick because I missed this before.
What's that?
Darius Acuff's player comp. You're gonna love this. Tim Hardaway.
See, I was thinking Steve Franchise. I was thinking franchise. Yeah. I wasn't thinking Tim Hardaway.
And then Kingston Flemings has the De'Aaron Fox comp.
Interesting.
Which Flemings isn't great offensively like De'Aaron Fox was in Kentucky coming out.
So the only comp we like so far was the Nets pick being CJ's double ganger.
Because he looks just like CJ. And Bruce said he looks 16. I'm like, he do look really young. Perez Johnson's comp was Daniel Gafford, his teammate. So that's right on point right there.
Right on brand.
God bless. Right now, ESPN has. Oh wait, that's an update. Hold on. Nate Ament being the best available from Milwaukee. He was they say it's 6'11", small forward, power forward, more power forward. But the best fit would be Ade Mara from Michigan. So it's going to be a big man.
That means what's his name's got to be on the trading block now. Miles.
Yeah, I'm not. Where would you go if you're Milwaukee with at least 10 for this pick? Only for just 10, where would you go?
I would go with best available player because we got so many parts from Miami. Like, yeah, I would go best available. I don't know if I would. You know what? I would probably take my luck on a center because you lack size up front anyway. So maybe I do get old boy from Michigan.
And Mara's 7'3". He still needs some work, which I think might actually work with Dallas because you have a team, very young team. You're going to need to kind of give them some time to kind of figure it out. So I think even if Mara's not, ready made,
yeah,
I think you still make that push anyway. Go back here. I don't know why I'm watching the ABC telecast because I'm seeing Richard Jefferson. He annoys the shit out of me. His shirt, it's like 4 buttons open. It's way too much.
I forgot about ABC. I forgot about ABC. I got it on ESPN.
I don't need to see all that. I don't need to see the hamburger meat. I'm good. Brandon Burries, the guard, goes to Milwaukee. Look at my notes real quick. So the Mott's had him going 9 to Dallas. So he's fell off one spot. Through. Played for Arizona, who I said was the number one seed in the tournament that was going to fall apart, and they did. Kind of. I don't know, 6'4" guard, played really hard. My question with him was, and the whole season with Arizona, how good was Arizona because they played the Big 12?
Right, we don't really know.
Yeah, the Big 12 wasn't like this great conference. So I'm like, was Arizona the best team in the country the whole year, or was it the best team in the country because they played in the Big 12? That was my biggest concern with him. So
Arizona was definitely the Detroit Pistons of the Big 12.
So next up at 11 is going to be Golden State. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm confused with Golden State. Maybe you can help me with that. Like, where do they go tonight?
Wherever they go, they're packaging this pick. That's what I think. They're definitely going to try to get a veteran help, somebody to help them on the front line.
But what's funny? I had the same thought, but do they go with the best available player who can contribute now and just see what happens? I feel like how many years are you giving Steph? 2 or 3? 2?
Yeah, about that. Like,
you're gonna trade more, and you kind of flunked out with Kuminga. Not really, but that didn't work out. The Weissman pick was a disaster. You probably should trade that pick when you had it, and you said, "No, let it ride." Do you think they're gun shy with drafts now because of them not having Kuminga anymore, and then James Weissman just washing out the league completely?
I think so. I think they are they're the Clippers. They're the LA Rams of the draft. Like, they do not care for draft capital. They don't care for it. So I think they might try to package this pick. But if I was them, I'll probably grab the center from Michigan here. And they need size up front because it can't just be Draymond and a bunch of guards running around. So I'll probably put him. That's who I would pick this pick.
So they're saying Amen from Tennessee, Mara from Michigan, Steinbach from Washington still available. Washington once again. You're playing in the Big Ten. Not great.
Great.
So I'm curious. I think this is where the draft kind of gets kind of weird because you start seeing it. I kept hearing how deep this draft is. I said it in the beginning before you got on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the draft is deep with like superstars. I think the draft is very top heavy. Those first 3 or 4 guys are going to be franchise guys. I think this rest of this first round is going to be guys that are going to contribute, whether it be
good role players,
a fringe starter, your 7th man, stuff like that. So I think it's deep as in these guys aren't going to sit on the bench for 2 years and wait. These guys are going to get in and contribute. How much they contribute is going to be dependent, obviously, on their play and how quick they pick up their team style. But I kept hearing that deep. This draft is deep, and I'm like, is that deep, or is it just like you have a lot of good guys in this draft who's going to contribute? Unlike past years where we got past first 2 picks and like, bum, 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 bum.
How crazy would this draft been if Harper and Edgecombe stayed one more year and came out this year?
Oh, they Bailey too. Imagine Bailey and Harper stayed in Rutgers and they actually made the tournament with AJ DeBonza coming out and with Peterson coming. This could have been probably and we do what ifs. If you had Bailey, you had Harper, you had Edgecombe staying along with Wilson, Peterson, DeBonza, Boozer. That could have been the best draft of all time.
We're looking 10 deep. That would easily been 10 deep. Where like everybody would have been like okay with tanking last year. Like, I mean, shit. You might have more teams tanking. Where
you really could have had this conversation, and we could have had this conversation for weeks about who's going number 1 because you have 8 guys who could have went number 1.
Yep.
And it would have been nuts. And no, you would have not made a good pick if that was the case in those first 8 picks. No matter who you got, great pick. You nailed it. ABC is currently talking about the Milwaukee. But here's the issue with trades like this. ESPN is going to nail this into the ground for the next 2 days. Yeah. And it's going to be hard to watch anything about ESPN because they're like, Giannis in Miami, Pat Riley, and Eric Spoelstra, and Taylor Jenkins, and what's next?
It's funny you mentioned that because I stayed away from ESPN today, and I actually listened to Dan Le Batard and those guys because they love Riley, and they've been kind of like they feel like he's lost in the last few years, and now to go watch them glaze and go right back to Riley's the man, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Listen, I just love that he responded at Carton after Carton kind of went at him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Carton doesn't have like the stand. I'll talk about Craig Carton for those who don't know who I'm talking about. Craig Carton doesn't have like the stand on. You're a convicted felon. Like you probably should fall the fuck back a little bit. Don't do that.
I'm really surprised he got his job back, but that's a whole other story.
I'm not. I'm convinced that Craig Carton has pictures of WFAN's GM.
We know you at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, with an underage chick or cross-dressing. Something crazy where he keeps getting his job back on FAN every time he leaves or gets locked up or something. Like no matter like clockwork. All right, the pick is in for Golden State. We're just waiting because obviously this is the pompous circumstance of the NBA draft. Yep. They wait like 3-4 minutes after the pick. So after Golden State at 11, you have OKC at 12. Everyone and their mother is hoping OKC does not hit on this pick because that just seems to be their thing. They get a pick and they did it again. Damn it. Everyone's pissed. So OKC is 12. We're going to stay on through Milwaukee's 13th pick because I'm just curious about where they're going to go with that 13th pick or if they move it because I can see that happening as well. So we'll be on air at least through Milwaukee's pick unless something crazy happens. We get down longer. So we're at 11, Golden State. Still talking. I always forget Jimmy Butler's still on Golden State.
Jimmy Butler's still there.
I'm like, goddamn.
And so, they're actively trying to get LeBron to come there.
Great. So we got Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, Moises Moody, who came on late. Al Horford, still there.
Forgot about Horford. Damn.
My dad's favorite player is Brendan Popinsky. I don't know why, but he loved that guy. But roster-wise, this is not – we're talking about top-heavy. This is hella top-heavy. You have Steph, Jimmy Butler, and whatever's left of Draymond Green, which is not a lot. So they need a lot of help this year to even make a play-in, let alone play in the playoff spot. Adam Silver at the podium. Yaxel Yendenberg. Okay. Another Michigan guy. 2 Michigan guys in the top 11. Congratulations to Michigan.
See, you know, Draymond had to sign up on this, being a Michigan State guy.
Yeah. Let's see his scouting report if I can find it. It's really back here. Where's Yaxel? Why can't I find it? There we go. So his scouting report mixed elements in his evaluation. His free throw rate was somewhat underwhelming relative to his physical tools, and teams will want to see more consistent offensive assertiveness and defensive reliability against NBA level athletes. That's not good. At 24, his age naturally limits some of the long-term upside associated with younger prospects. However, his maturity, versatility, winning impact, and ability to contribute in a variety of ways make him one of the safer players in the class. The slide is much more about age and talent. So, because he's 24 years old, which is the dumbest thing I've heard, his upside is limited because he's just an older player. So he has experience.
So he's what I even thinking about his comparison. His comparison has to be Obi Thompson then.
No, it's not. No.
What do you got?
OG Odonobi.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're getting so mad with these comps. It's great. I'm doing this every year. I'm getting these comps every year now. This is my new thing. Every draft, I'm going to get these comps. NBADraft.net, baby. Just hit those up. Listen, I like the pick. He can play. He can play right away.
Right.
Oh, Bruce does not like the pick. Bruce, I do not like that pick. No, I feel like you can't SNL comps. No, I feel like you can't. You couldn't get a 21-year-old or a 19-year-old to come to Golden State. You got a 24-year-old experienced guy who played in big games at a major college, at a major conference, who won a national championship. I feel like this is kind of. I had a feeling they would go here because you could slot him in here, and even if he doesn't start right away, he's going to contribute something. And we talk about
he's going to get some
size.
Real minutes. He's going to get some real minutes in that rotation.
We talk about size. We talk about depth. One thing they're lacking, they needed more size, and you got that now. So I think you can't really complain about that too much. Is it a bit of a reach? A little bit, but I wouldn't say it's like a crazy reach. Like, oh,
it's not a crazy reach here.
But I mean, I like the pick. I like this pick. I have nothing bad about it.
If the Warriors didn't take him, OKC was definitely going to piss us off and take him.
Oh, he went down there and just balled the hell out in OKC.
Yep.
40 games. So he played 40 games last year. He spent the whole season. I think he missed like one game. 15 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, 3 assists a game, 82% from the foul line, 51% from the field, 37% from 3. So that's also really good that they can stretch the floor with him. I'm not sure if he's a center or power forward. He probably play a little bit of both. He probably play a small ball center if you go to a really small lineup. But I know Bruce hates this pick. I actually kind of like this pick just for the experience aspect of it.
Yeah, I like it for the experience as well.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going.
He gets to learn from grown-ups. He's going to be in a good system. He'll be fine.
Now, are you going to build around him for the future? Absolutely not.
Nah.
Absolutely not. But I do like this pick for Golden State.
Yep.
OKC's on the clock. Their pick is already in. Haynes Steinbach is what the mocks said. Obviously, the mocks are completely off the rails now based on the last couple picks. Power forward from Washington. What does OKC do with Chet Holmgren? I think that's been the real big question since the Western Conference Finals.
Besides get him in the weight room and help build on his confidence against Wemby.
I'm trying to give the young man a benefit of the doubt, but the problem becomes this: you signed him to a ridiculous extension.
Yeah.
So he's making 41.2 next year, 44.5 the year after, 47.8 the year after, 51.1 the year after that, 54.5 the year after that. So we're hitting the I can't trade this guy situation again. You can't move him. He's going to hit when he hits $50 million in 4 years. He's screwed.
He's screwed, yeah.
So you gave him, you gave Jalen Williams an extension. SGA is still making his money. Isaiah Hartenstein, it has a club option. Lou Dort has a club option, which he probably won't exercise to save some money because they don't want to go with a second apron. Second apron's like kryptonite now. And then Kendrick Williams is not going to get re-signed. So now you're going to be short a big man and a guard if you don't bring in Hartenstein and Dort. Would you package this pickup or just say best available and we need to fill the center position and or shooting guard?
I think they packaged this pick kind of like what they did with when they traded what's the name to Atlanta the other night. I think they packaged this pick and move it and pick up some more second rounders just to shed some salary.
So real quick, I want to show you in the audience our best available players right now. So this is our best available currently.
Okay.
Ament from Tennessee, Mara from Michigan, Steinbach, who the mock draft is saying no pick. Karim Lopez, he ain't being picked unless they want to do a stash, but I don't see what they're going to do. Christian Anderson, Alan Graves. It's a fall off. Now we're hitting the weird part where it's like, okay, who's the best available guy for real now? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they go.
Well, they go look like they went Mara from Michigan.
Yep, the third Michigan player to go in the first round. When was the last time Michigan had 3 players in the first round? That's Fab 5,
right?
Wow. Oh, woo. Good job, Michigan. So they get Mara.
Who looks like a little puffier chef.
I know. He does. So I want to read his strengths and weaknesses because I'm always curious about these on ESPN because they're very very detailed. Strengths: unusually skilled and unusually tall. Good touch around the rim, outstanding passer, quick processor who excels playing out of 2-man actions. Not the most mobile defender. His size makes him a quality defensive deterrent. His weakness: Mara has made strides with his conditioning, but he isn't particularly mobile or quick off the floor. He sometimes struggles to rebound out of his area and isn't defensively versatile. He's developing, but unreliable jump shooter. He sounds like Mitchell Robinson. Just sounds like Mitchell Robinson's scouting report. Especially not the most mobile defender. I'm like, yep, that's Mitch. So
sounds like they're accumulating bodies to throw at Wemby. Smart sound strategy for OKC.
That like Bruce just said the same. OKC picked the dude to guard Wemby.
Pretty much.
Exactly. So I mean, listen, they're stuck with Chet Holmgren. They have they can't do anything with that. You're gonna have Mara. Hartenstein is not going to be there next year, and you're going to have to kind of go on the scrap heap a little bit. You know, they have Jalen Williams, but I don't put it out there. Yeah. You're going to go on the scrap heap a little bit to pick up another body. Like you said, we need bodies. So what the Knicks did, my man got out there. What's his name? Mitchell was in foul trouble, and Cat.
He said to everybody out there, you get 5 minutes with Wemby.
You got to do it. He got a block too. His name I can't remember off the top of my head. Whose name I mentioned my buddy. If he plays, we're screwed. And he played. I'm like, oh God. No, real quick before I forget. Porty. That's his name. Ariel Porty. Porty got in the game. I was like, oh shit. All right. So this is the Miami pick, which is actually gonna be Milwaukee's pick. Where does Milwaukee go here? Do you make this trade?
Ooh. I mean, I thought they would probably go big here, but you get what's the best available player.
All right, so best available player right now, Nate Ament from Tennessee. Oh wait, hold on, he's still there. He's best available. They're saying the best fit is who should have went last pick, according to the mock drafts of Steinbach. So they're both saying big men, either or. Best available big man for Tennessee. the best fit would be Steinbach from Washington. So I'm not sure. This is going to be this is interesting if they pick up a big man. If you look at Milwaukee real quick, I'm going to bring up their roster as well and see what they're working with now that Giannis is gone.
Is Milwaukee's current roster playing contention?
No.
Is it better? Is it better than the Nets?
I'll take that back. Yes, they're playing. Yes, it took me a minute because I had to look up. I had to see who they got again.
Uh-huh.
I think Tyler Hero is going to kill it being back home.
Yep.
Jaime Jaquez might be one of the more underrated players in the NBA for what he does.
He reminds me so much of Wilson Chandler, especially the way the Knicks lost him and how he was a glue guy. So I think he's going to fit in Milwaukee just fine. Kuzma, they probably try to move him.
Well, what did Bill Simmons call Kuzma? Was the Giannis tax? To get Giannis, you had to get Kuzma. Like, oh, damn it! But I mean, Yakuhonis is good. Ware's getting better. So you have a big man already, a young big man to go with Miles Turner that you probably can't play at the same time. Kuzma does some things right, but you really can't depend on Kyle Kuzma. Kevin Porter, kinda. A 9 seed? I think they're like a 9.
I think 9. They'll be battling. They'll be battling with Yeah, I gotta wait till the draft's over to look at the rosters because I think there'll be that 8, 9, 10 spot.
Yeah, I'm looking at spot tracks now. I think they're trying to update as they go, so it's still like all over the fucking place. But I'm very curious about this team now, especially with this pick, because I feel like, are you trying to get to the play-in, or are you just trying to be competitive to kind of stay out of the NBA's crosshairs and not tank?
Right.
I think that's the issue right now.
Ironically, the next 3 picks are playing teams contention. Or maybe Charlotte. Charlotte might be a hinge play-in team this year. I am curious as to which direction Milwaukee does go here.
I don't.
Considering they wasn't even thinking about making this pick yesterday.
Well, apparently, multiple people said that Boston was in the lead. But once it came out with Boston offer, I'm like, there's no way they were ever in the lead. There's no way that Milwaukee is legitimately like, we have these 2 offers. We have Jaylen Brown and 2 mid-20 draft picks. And we have Miami's offer, and it's a fucking lot. They give us everything we want and then some. There's no way they were like, no.
I don't know, man.
What we do here? What do you think, Pat? Pat's like, well, really, Jaylen Brown. No, I don't think that's a thing. I think Miami was always in the running. I think Milwaukee really wanted Jaylen Brown and would have thought Jaylen Brown to build around him. They probably wanted that, but they wanted something else. And I think if the Celtics even offered one other person, I don't care who the person is, if they even offered one more person, they would have got Jaylen Brown.
Even if it was like Derek White,
even if it was Baylor Schneiderman, they would have got Jaylen Brown. But I think they just needed something. Listen, I go back to when the Dudley Boys left ECW. Perfect situation. They did not want to leave ECW and go to WWF. And they went to Paul Heyman and said, listen, we don't want to leave. Give us $1 extra more and we will stay. And Paul said, I can't do that. I think that was the situation with Boston and Milwaukee. Milwaukee said, give us 1 player. Give us 1 more piece. Any piece. I don't give a shit. Give us something to show us that you want this deal to be done. And they're like, can't do it. Can't do it. I don't know why that popped in my head from that Rise and Fall of ECW documentary.
I'm pretty sure Brad Stevenson was back there like, man, this guy, he's just coming off an injury. That calf. I mean, I got to play here with a calf. I don't know. I don't want the Calf brothers in my front line. I don't know.
I don't know what to do, man. Damn it. Oh, Danny. Danny, what do I do here, man? I'm really lost here. How'd you do this with the Nets?
And I'm pretty sure Danny told him, you better not trade Jason Tatum. Brown for just and 2 first-round picks. You better get that Kyle Kuzma tax in here.
You did this so well with Brooklyn. You messed them up. How can I mess them up? I can't reveal that information. That's can't do that, sir. All right, pick is in. Here we go. Miami Heat, i.e. Milwaukee Bucks pick. It is going to be Nate Ahmet. So they get the big man from Tennessee.
He seems very poised to be going from Tennessee to Milwaukee.
That's loud. That's loud. I was looking for his scouting report, but now I can't find it now. So Nate Ahmet goes. Let me go back in my papers because he should have went earlier. 6'11", power forward. Forget small forward. Smooth, fluid forward. He fits the modern NBA mold as a big wing, capable of spacing the floor, attacking closeouts, and contributing across multiple areas. His production grew as his role expanded, and he showed the ability to score. Milwaukee swings an upside and long-term value by selecting one of the most physically gifted forwards in the draft. His combination of size, mobility, defensive versatility, and offensive potential gives him a ceiling few players outside the top 5 can match. Right. So you add a little bit more size. He's not a development player. I think he's close to being done, but I think Taylor Jenkins is going to go in there and go, okay, what do we got to work on? Okay, let's get that done. So I think he's in the right situation, the right coach, right everything right now for him. All right, pick 13 we got to. I think last year we quit at like 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Last year, like, this is shit. We hate this draft. So that is our NBA draft show. We will be back with you next Tuesday, if that's okay with you, sir. It's free agency. Free agency starts next Tuesday. They can start talking next Tuesday, i.e., we'll have signings to announce next Tuesday night, 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So June 30th opens up the time when they can negotiate. July 6th, I think, is when they get officially signed. So usually next Tuesday, we will know who's going where. So we'll be back next Tuesday for that. And then we go on to our every other week schedule where we just talk. We're doing a top 10 show, by the way. I've been thinking about this for weeks. Top 10 right now. We're doing this sometime in July. So I'm telling you ahead of time, start thinking about it.
All right.
And then we can start some shit on Facebook and Twitter and Blue Sky and shit.
Yep.
So, as always, Bruce is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. armchairing. Follow us wherever you can see us. We're on X. I'm on Blue Sky, but I get more active there. I heard Blue Sky is very underrated for their World Cup stuff.
Might have to jump on that. Might have to jump on some Blue Sky.
So I can get on that. So for Jason, I'm Kahlil. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday for Free Agent Frenzy here on the Box Out. Peace.
Peace.
This has been The Box Out with Kahlil Thomas and Jason Kortner. Subscribe now for the best tri-state area basketball talk.